Hello, and welcome to Salesforce Development, Lesson 14, Part 1, Reservation Flow. Today we're going to talk about how to create a reservation, so let's go ahead and get started. Here I'm in my Salesforce org. I need to go to the app launcher. So I'm clicking on the app launcher. Looks like it's a little slow to respond, but I know we will get there eventually because it has opened up on me before. There you go. Then we click View All. And what we want to do is we want to go to the Customer Service app. Take a look at this. All right, so here we have the Customer Service app. I had a previously created reservation. I don't want that, so I'm going to go ahead and delete that. Because I want a fresh new reservation, just so you can see how we started. So we're going to click on New. We have the date of purchase, our credit card. Let's look at our customer here. I'm going to choose John Doe. I have their address in Connecticut, so you'll see the Connecticut sales tax populate once we save it. So I'll go ahead and save. All right, good. So we have our customer. We also have a subtotal and a total field here. That won't appear until we choose the particular item that we want, or we start creating our reservation items. So in order to create our reservation, we have this Create Reservation Items button. This is going to be tied to a flow. I've already created the flow ahead of time, or I've already created a previous version of the flow, but in this video, I'm going to show you how to create the flow from scratch. So we're going to go ahead and click Create Reservation Items. Right now I'm just demoing what the flow is going to look like when we're done creating it, just so you get a feel for what it does. All right, so we have our departure date. We're going to be departing in February 2nd. And we're going to be departing from BDL. You see BDL appeared in search results, so we have to select it. And same thing for the departing the arrival airport, where we're traveling to. We're going to SFO, and we have to select it. Then the arrival date is going to be arriving on Friday, February 6th. It's going to be SFO. And arriving back at BDL, so it's our return flight. So we're going to click Next. All right, now this any flights that are scheduled for that day appear in the departing and the arriving slots there. So the next thing we need to do is we need to select our flights, both of them, both the departing and arriving. I'm going to click Next. And the final screen we get is to create the reservation items, and this is where we need to pick the seat for our flight. So we're going to go through the economy, and this just shows me all the seats that are available on economy. I want a window seat, so I'm going to go ahead and pick F here. Again, I'm going to skip through because I don't want first class or business. Way more money than I want to pay for. So let's go and pick seat F on the way back also for economy. Okay, so we picked our two window seats. We click Next. And as you can see, it's gone ahead and created our reservation items. And you can see our subtotal and totals already calculated because we created we went ahead and created the formula fields that automatically calculate those totals. So this is the subtotal from here, and then once we apply the sales tax, it gives you our total. Okay, so that shows you how the Create Reservation Item button is supposed to work. So, but what we would need to do now is we need to go ahead and actually create the flow. So as always for flows, we need to go to Setup. And we're going to, in the quick find, we type flows. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create our reservation items, create items flow. So we'll go ahead and do that. So we're going to create a new flow. Okay, and then the type of flow is just going to be a screen flow. As you can see here, I went ahead and created the screen flow, so that's good. All right, so the first thing we always do is we always try to figure out, okay, what kind of variables do we need? Now, this is going to be a pretty complicated flow. It's going to have a number of different items. So again, if we go over to the side, the toolbox here, we're going to have to create a bunch of new resources. Okay, so the first resource we're going to create a series of single record variables. So we're going to click on new resource, and then the resource type is going to be a variable. We're going to give it an API name, and then we're just going to start with the arriving reservation item. That's the first thing. And this is going to store the arriving reservation item. Now the reservation item is going to be a data type of record. It's going to be a single record, and of type reservation item. So I can just start typing reservation item. It's that one. Okay, it's not going to be any of these things here, so I think we're good there. So I'm going to click done. There. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to create another single variable. So we'll go ahead and do that. Again, it's going to be a variable. The API name is going to be departing reservation item. Okay, stores the departing reservation item. Again, the data type is going to be a record again, and it's going to be reservation item. Not going to be for input or output, so this is fine. Okay, and then the last variable, as we've done with our other flows, usually we have to pass the record ID. In this case, we're going to be passing the record ID of the reservation object itself. So we're going to go ahead and choose variable. API name. Always, it has to be record ID. The I has to be capitalized. It's camel cased. And then the description is stores the record ID of the Salesforce ID, really. If we want to say this properly. The Salesforce ID of the reservation record. So it's basically the reservation record where you clicked on create reservation item, or you click the button. All right, next thing is the data type. It's text, and then available for input. No default value, done. All right, so I believe those are the three variables that we have to create here. And what those three variables will allow us to do is it will allow us to go ahead and create our reservation items in a user-friendly manner. And again, the reason we're doing this is this is a workflow, right? So if imagine yourself, you're a customer service representative taking reservations, say by phone, you're listening, you want the screens to make sense. You want the flow to make sense as they enter the data. All right, so the next thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and let's go ahead and save what we have so far. And we're going to call this reservation items, create items. We'll leave it at that. And this creates the reservation items for a flow. So we'll go ahead and do that. So we'll go ahead and save it. All right, so it's saving right here. So while this is saving, just kind of walk through the first step. First thing, we need to add our first flow. Right here we have an error. You can't activate this automatically to resolve an error. Oh, nothing's connected. Yeah, we have to create something first, but we'll go ahead and do that. First thing we want to do is we want to get the reservation record. So let's go ahead and scroll down, and we want to do a get records element. We'll add that. Then the next thing we want to do is we want to go ahead, the first element is going to be get reservation record. That automatically creates the API name, and what this does is it query for the parent reservation record. So we'll go ahead and do that. Next thing we want to do is we want to get the records for a specific object, and this is going to be the reservation object because that's the parent record of the items that we're going to create. The field we want is the record ID, so we're going to look for record ID, which is down here. And this is where the record ID equals that record ID variable that we created, because that variable is going to hold the record ID of the reservation where you clicked on the button. So we're going to go ahead and do that. All right, we only expect one record, so only the first record. And we have automatically store all fields. That looks good. So let's go ahead and save. And this warning should go away now once we saved it, because now we added at least one element. All right. Okay, so that looks good. Let's go ahead and continue. Next thing we want to do is we want to create our screen. And this screen is going to be for finding flights. So we'll go ahead and do that. Let's scroll down. Let's look for their screen. And this brings up this screen up here. So we're going to call this particular screen the find flight screen, because that's pretty much what it does. It's going to find flights. And what we're going to do is we're going to find the flights for our reservation. Okay. All right. One thing we want to do is I want to remove the pause in the previous buttons because it doesn't really make sense at this point. It's just going to have a finish once you're at this point. So we want to go ahead and let's see. Oh, we do have a show footer. Never mind. I think we'll leave that as is right now. Oh, we do want to hide the pause because we don't really want it. That doesn't make sense. So everything else is fine. Oh, and we do want to hide the previous. So we'll hide the previous, hide the pause. So the pause button is hidden, the previous button is hidden, but the next or finish is still going to be there. So that's good. We'll keep that there. All right, so that's that. So the next thing we want to do is we want to actually go ahead and add our data entry fields. So if you remember, the first field was a date. So we're going to go ahead and look for a date. I didn't want to add 2, just want to add 1. Okay, so we click on the date, And the label we want on there is departure date. Creates the API name for us. It's required, so I want to click required there. And I think that's it. Because that's a date, and we're good. All right, the next type of field we want to add is a lookup. So I want to go ahead and scroll down and get the lookup. So I'll click on that. It adds this lookup field. So there's a bunch of different things that we have to add for the lookup field, but let's start with the API name. And this is the departure underscore airport. Field API name is going to be departing underscore airport underscore C. And the label is going to be departure departing airport. Okay. Then our object API name, we're going to take the object from the flight because that's where it's grabbing the airports from. It's going to be from the flight. Let's see, disabled is false. Maximum selections, we're going to want to allow one record to get selected at a time. Everything else I think looks good there. So the next thing we want to do is, I believe we have another for the arrival airport. So we're going to go ahead and click on another lookup field. So let's go ahead and click on here. And again, we're going to go ahead and departing arrival airport. Field API name is going to be arriving airport underscore C. The label is going to be departing arrival airport. All right, and then we need to do again, it's going to be flight, that's underscore C. Maximum selection is going to be 1. And I think everything else is good there. Okay, so we have our departure date, departing airport, and our arriving airport there. Right. Next thing we're going to do is just create another set of these, but one for the arrival information. Actually, probably what anyways. So next thing we want to do is we're going to click on another date, and then I'm going to do 2 lookups because that's basically what these look like at the end. So that way I have all these set up, and now I just have to type in departing arrival airport. The API name is going to be arriving airport C. This is oh, I'm sorry. I clicked on the wrong thing here. This is why this wasn't making sense. I need to do the date. I apologize. This needs to be the date, and the date labels are different. This needs to be arrival date. Yep, and now I've created the API name, then I do require, and I think everything else is okay here. And now if I go to lookup, this is where this looks different. Because now I have to go and do arrival underscore departing underscore airport. And then this is where I do departing underscore airport underscore C. For the name, the label is going to be arrival departing airport. Flight underscore C. And then maximum selections is 1. I think everything else is pretty much the same. All right, so we have arrival date, arriving airport. The final lookup is going to be the arriving underscore arrival underscore airport. Okay, we do that. And then we're going to go ahead and look at the field API name. Again, is arriving underscore airport underscore C. The label is going to be arrival 2 R's airport. Again, it's going to be flight underscore C, and finally a maximum selection of 1. Okay, so that was a lot of work there, but as you can see, now we have 2 sets of data that we have here. We have a set for, oh, this is interesting. I must have mistyped something over here because it says I don't have, oh, I misspelled flight. I have an extra T in there. All right, so if I click on that, that looks better. All right, so I have my departure information, I have my arrival information, and I think that looks good now. So we can go ahead and click done, and we can have save. Okay, so this is part 1. I don't want to have these videos too long, so I'm going to split them up into multiple parts. So this first part, we went ahead and started our screen flow. We got the get reservation record and the find flights. So we'll continue on with our flow in part 2. Until next time, if you liked this video, please like and subscribe. And until next time, see you later.